What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Man 101. Got a video here today from Cosmic Verse. 45% of women projected to be single by 2030. Let's get to it.
I think I'm done with dating. I can't. I think I finally understand why people settle, because this is so horrible and miserable.
Let me see if he takes my sexy eyes or not. He's got to be good. He's not even looking at me, so I'm going to assume that I'm just not his type. I think I'm going to say something. Excuse me, sir. Are you looking for me?
No, keep it moving.
I saw this post on the internet that says study predicts that 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. So, since the assumption is that's a bad thing, I left a comment. I said some of y'all fail to understand that this is more of an assessment about the state of men rather than women. And I got a lovely reply, and it says, depends on how you look at it. The men are the ones that choose to propose. The men are the buyers. The women are what is being purchased.
Ouch!
Recently, I've been hearing a lot of...
That's a very good point, right? That's something that women, at least modern women, don't really understand the concept of, right? Like, you have to prove yourself worthy to be married, right? There's things that you have to do in the marketplace. And they get all up in arms because they know, a lot of them, they just don't have anything there. There's just space, right? Nothing there. And so a lot of them will say, oh, well, I'm not being purchased. Okay, well, take purchased out of it, but you are being selected. Okay, right? If you get offended by purchase, I get. The thing is, you are out in the marketplace. You are looking for someone to marry you. And women know it. They're trying to get that top option, that the highest, best option they can get. They will present themselves worthy for the man that they like. It's only for the men that they're not attracted to do those words make them feel bad. But if he's rich, he looks good, they'll be purchased, selected all day long.
Buzz around the 2019 Morgan Stanley study that predicts 45% of women between the ages of 25 to 44 will be single and childless by 2030. We're at 41% in 2018, so it's expected that more and more women will be single and childless as the years roll on. As long as I can afford to go on the seemingly few bachelorette trips to Mexico that are going to happen, I'm Gucci. I can stop putting so much pressure on myself to make a lot of money, travel the world, and do everything I want to do in the next 3 years before I turn 30. What it sounds like Morgan is trying to tell us is that the girls are going to be having Dua Lipa summers for the next solid decade.
No. What Morgan is telling men is to invest in cat food.
Right. It's just nothing there. That's what I want you to understand about a lot of modern women. There is nothing there. Nothing. So this young lady thinks that Morgan Stanley study is telling women to just go have these hot girl summers and just have fun. I don't think they need Morgan Stanley to tell them to do that. They're already doing that. But there's going to be a lot of ramifications around the fact that you're going to have a very high number of single women in the future, single and childless. And this is something that many folks have talked about, but I think it's something that will continue to be discussed because there's no reversing it. You can't reverse this. It's too late. It's too late. And it's too late for those women, and they know it.
And bottles of wines, because that's exactly what modern women will be sipping on in their empty homes. And remember, the sole purpose this research was conducted in the first place was for them to know how to invest in the coming years.
Yeah.
And while all this is happening, the Passport Bros movement will have sped up. But more importantly, what women fail to understand is that single, childless women tend to be very unhappy and much lonelier.
One thing I just genuinely do not understand is why guys don't approach girls anymore, like while they're out at the bar. Maybe guys just don't approach me, and that's like a personal problem I need to address at a later date.
Good men who have been through a lot in past relationships will stay single until they find someone who makes them feel valued, heard, respected, thought of, supported, and loved for who they really are.
7 years now and no real prospects. Good women just don't exist anymore. I've been single for 18 months. It wasn't until 4 years in a relationship that I realized I was being manipulated. I won't waste my time anymore. There's no value in a relationship marriage anymore.
I think the problem too is that men really have to get out of this idea that we were taught ever since we were younger, right? That women are damsels in distress. They are, they're just little angels that were sent here from God, and they can do no harm, and you need to give your life for them. And that's how you prove yourself to be a good man. And nah, fam. And so I think what happens a lot of times as men go through life, they start to see it for what it is. These women just don't care about them. And they never have. I mean, they most likely never have. And so it's hard, right? But you have to question the things that you were taught growing up. Otherwise, how can you truly learn, right? Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Legal and financial consequences of marriage or even long-term relationships can
See what
single
she has to say.
and to have no children. Now, there's nothing wrong with making the conscious choice to not have any children, but to not have children and to be single out of the fact that our society is telling us that being independent and that this whole feminist movement is the answer. If it's the answer, then why are we the loneliest generation to exist? Why are more and more people struggling to find relationships? Why are more people depressed and unhappy than ever in time?
50%.
I mean, I could tell you why. I mean, feminism was a complete farce. It is a complete farce. It was a total attack against the church, total attack against the family, total attack against men and children. Okay, when you really dive into it and do that research and find out who these women were who really pushed that first, second, even into that third wave of feminism. These people were, they were demonic. I mean, these were not good women. But obviously, women of today, they don't really know that, right? It's called standpoint theory. They only see it for how they feel, right? They make it up. Right, they hear stories and they just take it and they run with it and they make it their own. Like that 4B movement, that's a example of standpoint theory, right? The way Western women perceive 4B is not really what it is, and it's hurting a lot of people. And I think a lot of men, again, will continue to walk away.
Percent of women between the ages of 25 and 45 are going to be single and childless. Like, I mean, think about it. If you're married, there's going to be so many women throwing themselves at your husband if he's a half good looking, decent earning guy. And over a certain age, women accept being a side chick. I mean, they won't publicly say
that's
under
not
a
true.
certain
That is
age.
true.
I think it's around like 35. They'll accept being a side chick because
I'd say
they would
younger than
rather
that.
be with the top guy than be with the guy they don't like.
At the end of the day, it's all about money to them. The bigger bidder wins. For many of these women, relationships to them are only transactional.
Right.
They want to live the best life possible without doing much or nothing at all. That's why they chase the top guys. Whenever women hear about this statistic, that 45% of them will be single by 2030, they always claim to be single by choice. as if it's an empowering decision. But the reality often paints a different picture. This claim becomes a coping mechanism to mask their inability to secure or maintain a relationship with the type of man they desire.
Right.
Instead of acknowledging the unrealistic expectations or self-sabotaging behaviors that led to their situation, they frame it as a conscious decision, avoiding accountability.
I hate dating. Like, I genuinely hate it. Yes, I like being in love. Yes, I like meeting new people. But going through the whole, oh, where did you grow up? What do you want to do with your life? And explaining myself to people over and over and over again drives me insane. Like, you don't...
Hey, bruh. This woman gone. She gone, bruh. Look at her. She gone. She been chatted out, sprinted through, probably since middle school. She gone. You know what? Some dude will see this and be like, that's wifey. Because men still marry 304s. They still marry women that talk like this. There's somebody out there, but forewarned, she is not on this planet.
You don't know how badly I just want to meet someone and love them for the rest of my life. Someone who just hits all my check boxes. Loving, kind, ambitious, courageous, strong, knows what they're doing with their life, has goals, has a career in mind, knows what they want from a relationship, generous, humble, teachable, compassionate, hardworking, perseverant. So if someone can create a dating app where those guys are on it, sign me up.
Morgan Stanley.
Real last point, quick point on her. What is she gonna do for him, right? If she finds a man that has all those things, I don't even remember what she said. Most likely, he is good for other women as well. So why would he choose her? Is she willing to share that man? What is she gonna do for him? Gone.
Stanley said that by 2030, over 50% of women will be single forever, for life. Now, why did Morgan Stanley come out with this information? It's very simple. Their greatest source of income, their day-to-day bread and butter income, is married couples investing and saving for their retirement in their future.
By 2030 or something, 50% of women will be without a man. That's the direction we're heading, because two part of the problem. The men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas. And then two, the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
Good. It's about time men wake up. We are done. Men wake up and know your value. That's about right. I don't want to deal with women or relationships no more. It's always the same to be honest. The boys, money grind, and that's all you need.
Right.
Checked out completely. Traditional women are hard to come by, and until someone matches the same energy as me, I won't bother. I've always wanted to marry a woman and have a big family, but now it's just easier to check out. There aren't many good people left in the world. The amount of women pretending to celebrate this in the comments.
The thing about it is, women don't care. I mean, look, women would rather sleep in the trunk of their car than deal with a man that they're not totally attracted to, right? And just have to settle, right? She'll sleep in the trunk of her car. She'll eat ramen noodles. She'll buy 8,000 cats before she has to go back down and find a man that doesn't do it for her, or she's really not that attractive to, right? So these numbers aren't going to scare women. These studies don't scare them. They'll flip it around. You see how the one girl earlier flipped it around. Oh, we're going to live Dua Lipa summers. They don't care. Stop trying to make women care. They don't, because they don't have to. because there's some beta, some simp that will save her or try to. It won't work.
Is what actually makes it funny, because deep down, many of them don't truly believe in what they're preaching. They put on a facade for social media, acting like they're thriving, but behind closed doors, loneliness creeps in. The story always ends the same. Eventually, these women will be asking for men, realizing that the independence they fought for feels empty without companionship. There's a reason why 45% of women are projected to be single by 2030. Unrealistic standards, the hookup culture, and the belief that they can always do better have created a cycle where genuine connections are harder to form. Add to that the growing divide between men and women, fueled by constant negativity and entitlement. Men have only adapted and are going to places where they're wanted.
I have never met a woman that confesses that she cheated on her ex. I've met plenty of men that have owned up to it and they've confessed that they have cheated in the past, but never have I ever met a woman that has taken accountability or has taken the blame for the relationship ending, let alone cheating in her past relationship.
Of course
Welcome
not.
to my world.
Right.
Fellas, wait your turn. By 2030, 45% of American women ages 25 through 44 are projected to be single. Wait your turn.
I just want to know, since so many people agreed with my last video about how horrible dating is right now, where are you guys finding people? Are you going to shows, coffee shops, work? Where are you guys finding these people? Are you using dating apps? If so, which ones? Because whatever I'm doing is not working.
It's really unfortunate, because there's actually...
You know, this whole idea around where do I find, for women, right? Where do they find husbands? Every place that used to be acceptable for them to go find husbands, they've completely turned it upside down on its head. Women would go to college to find a husband. Now, not saying that they wouldn't have their fun, but that was a part of it, right? Go to college. If you don't get the husband in high school, go to college, get your husband. That's not what we teach women. We teach you, go discover yourself, go have fun, go to college, mess with all the frat boys, the football players, the chads on campus, have fun. There's a show on HBO Max. It was the fun sex lives of college girls. I mean, this is what we push to them. And then they get out. Maybe they go to grad school. Maybe they go get their PhD. And it's just essentially the same thing, right? Okay, go to work. They've completely turned that upside down on its head. You can't say nothing to them at work. You can't say nothing to them at bars. They tell you not to speak to them. Don't approach them. Look, the difference between, being, like aggressive, if you will, in their eyes is how attractive you are. If you're attractive, hey, you can flirt with them all day. If you're not attractive, that flirtation will be looked at as some type of salt, if you get my drift, right? So, point being, blame yourselves. Blame yourselves. Let's see what this woman has to say.
So my friend on Facebook was debating this morning that men do not want to be providers, and men absolutely want a woman who can at least go 50-50 with them these days, and that any woman who wants a provider will end up being single and alone because no man wants to go for that. And I just want to know, is that facts? Is that how y'all feeling?
So picking right back up on this conversation of successful women and dating, a lot of successful women say that men are intimidated by their success. And I hear from a lot of men that say that that's not true. They're not intimidated by women's success. So I think it's all pointing to the fact that women are still having trouble dating men who make less than they do or are not as, we'll say, financially successful as they are. So if it's not intimidation, men, what is it exactly that is leading you to not wanting to date these types of women?
The issue is the overwhelming masculine energy that comes with these women. Men aren't drawn to that because it goes against the natural balance in relationships. A man doesn't care about a woman's success or money. He's not looking for someone to provide for him. He's perfectly capable of doing that on his own. These women are very hard to deal with. They're bossy, excessively controlling, and demanding to always have their way, which makes them difficult to be around them. Instead of being a partner, they try to compete, asserting dominance in a way that repels rather than attracts men. This behavior stems from the belief that their career achievements or financial success somehow make them more desirable to men, but it only highlights a lack of understanding about what men truly seek.
Yeah,
Do we think 40 is too old to date a girl?
It's true. I think women love not giving men what they want. They really do. They love not giving men what they want. They love leading with their careers and their money. When men have, I mean, as far back as I can remember, men have said, yeah, we don't care. Like, cool, right? That's good for you. You got to take care of yourself. But I don't really care about your career, how much you make, what kind of car you drive. But women lead with that. And men let them. I mean, it's just not impressive. They don't lead with other stuff. She's nice, she's kind, she's fit, she's friendly. They don't lead with none of that stuff. It's always attached to the career and a company that most likely doesn't care about them. Let's look at one more video.
In their late 20s. Like, I'm 27, but my friend disagrees and she says I need someone younger to keep up with my lifestyle. But all the guys my age don't want to settle down. So here I am. What do we think? I think it's fine.
The study predicts that by 2030...
Date older, ma'am. Date older. At 27, you really don't have a ton of options, right? You don't want to date younger because those guys aren't ready to settle down because they're still working on themselves or they're still out doing what they want to do. Date a man that's older.
45% of women will be single. Now, apparently single women are empowered, meanwhile single men feel lonely. I'm going to read it to you guys because I think it's a really interesting study. It says that with the modern dating market, nearly half of women in their childbearing years will be without a male counterpart. Now, there's a few reasons for this. So one, women aren't getting married young anymore. We have so many other options for what we want to do with our lives, so that getting married is no longer like the default option. We're focusing on our careers, we're going to grad school, traveling, our friends, and extended social circles, and taking our time to find the right guy. Number two is we aren't having babies like we used to, with more options for birth control and yada yada yada. I really just wanted to say yada yada yada. Quite interesting. What do you guys think about that? I feel like women are more successful now than ever. We're seeing a lot of business women and stuff like that, and I feel like people just aren't really settling how they used to. It's a good thing, but then what does that mean if such a high percentage, nearly 50% of women are having children? What does that mean for the rest of us? And what does that even mean for the population? Will we see that it starts to slow down? I just find that really...
All right, she's going on. I'm gonna end it there, but shout out to her. She's cute. No, I mean, The point is, women always want to live their life like it's a movie, right? They are the lead actress in their own movie, which will most likely never come true, right? This like Sex in the City type of lifestyle, it's not true. And it ends up pitting a lot of women back. And then by the time they realize it, it's too late, right? They got the high powered career. They're in grad school. They're hooking up with all the chads. They're going out to brunch. Most of them ain't living that lifestyle. Most of them. And this whole idea that like, oh, women are in a much better position. In certain cities, yes. In certain cities, women are making more than men at that age group. DC, New York, Philly, LA, Seattle, San Diego, Houston, Dallas. But in most of America, that ain't the case. So this idea that they just killing the game ain't true. They burnt out. You ever talk to a woman over 35? She burnt out. Trying to be a boss, independent babe. She burnt out. But all right, guys, if you want to go ahead and head over to Cosmic Verse to finish the video, go ahead and check that video out. Thank you guys for joining me today. Until the next time, eat well, sleep well, be well. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.